Thank you. I now recognize myself for as much time as I may consume for questions, with equal time being afforded to the ranking member. Dr. Desick, my time is limited, so as much as you could limit your answers to yes or no for now would be greatly appreciated. In 2018, did you submit an application for funding to DARPA for a project entitled Diffuse?
Yes, EcoHealth Alliance submitted
On this proposal, did you collaborate with Ralph Barrick from the University of North Carolina?
UNC was one of the co-investigators on the proposal, yes.
With Dr. Ralph Barrick?
Yes, he was on the proposal.
On this proposal, did you collaborate with Zhengli Shi from the Wuhan Institute of Virology?
Yes, they were involved in the proposal.
Were there any other Chinese collaborators on this proposal?
I don't know. I'd have to check the proposal, but I think it was just that organization. I'm not sure.
The organization being?
The Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Thank you. So others maybe from the Wuhan Institute of
It'll
Virology.
be in the proposal. I've got a copy if you want to.
We'll take a look at that. A draft of the Diffuse proposal was released via FOIA and had some comments in it regarding where the work would take place and the biosafety level for it. The first comment is up on the screen. It has the initials PD. Did you write this comment?
Yes.
Can we get it up on the screen? Okay. It says, Ralph Zhengli, if we win this contract, I do not propose that all of this work will necessarily be conducted by Ralph, but I do want to stress the U.S. side of this proposal so that DARPA are comfortable with our team. Once we get funds, we can then allocate who does what exact work. And I believe that a lot of those assays can be done in Wuhan as well. The proposal says that Dr. Barrick would reverse engineer spike proteins to test their capacity to cause disease. Were you also intending that the WIV conduct some of the work?
If you look at the language in my comment...
Yes or no, please? I'm just...
No, the language says assays, not experiments. Already the WIV is clearly listed in the proposal to conduct some assays.
Why did you want to stress the U.S. side of the proposal?
Well, I checked with DARPA if it was okay to include a Chinese collaborator on the proposal. They said yes. They checked with their higher-ups and said yes. So we went ahead with that. But I was still concerned that we didn't want to have too much American taxpayer dollars going to China. So that's the meaning of that.
The second comment is up on the screen, and again, it has the initials PD. Did you write this comment?
Yes.
It says, I'm planning to use my resume and Ralph's, period. Linfa, Zhengli, I realize your resumes are also very impressive, but I'm trying to downplay the non-U.S. focus of this proposal so that DARPA doesn't see this as a negative. Again, your language of attempting to downplay how much work would occur in China.
Well, there's nothing...
Why?
Sorry.
Why?
Oh, well, there's nothing unusual about this at all. If you're writing a grant to a federal agency, it gets reviewed by a committee of outside scientists. It's not necessarily... DARPA telling me it's okay to include Chinese and foreign collaborators doesn't necessarily mean the reviewers know that or are going to see it in the same way. So I simply wanted to stress the U.S. side of the proposal. I was trying to explain to our colleagues why their CVs weren't going to be in. We were limited in the number of CVs we could add. That's all. It's quite simple.
Thank you. So you were downplaying how much work...
I mean, I say it right there in that comment.
Did Dr. Shi contribute to the drafting of the proposal at all?
Of course, yeah. All collaborators
Okay.
did.
Third comment is up on the screen. And this time it was written by Dr. Barrick and says, in the U.S., these recombinant SARS coronaviruses are studied under BSL-3, not BSL-2. In China, might be growing these viruses under BSL-2. U.S. researchers will likely freak out. Were you proposing to do the work in Diffuse at BSL-2?
No.
In fact, you write in the proposal that the choice of BSL-2 is more cost-effective. Dr. Barrick testified that he does this work at BSL-3 and, in fact, encouraged you to do the same. What's more important to you, biosafety or cost?
Well, look, EcoHealth Alliance maintains the appropriate biosafety levels for our research. the proposal includes research which, according to both US and Chinese biosafety rules, which I have right in front of me, are BSL-2. It also has research which, according to both US and Chinese rules, are BSL-3. The final proposal is the proposal of record, and it is absolutely correct in the definition of biosafety levels that go into this. This is simply a draft proposal where one group's suggesting one thing, another is suggesting another. The final proposal is what matters. And I want to remind the committee that this proposal was not funded. The work was never done. It is utterly irrelevant to the origins of COVID.
Well, it's not irrelevant, Dr. Dazik. It's very relevant. And, you know, you just stated that China, those are China standards. So you're okay with China standards as opposed to the US standards. And it does matter whether it's at a BSL-2 or BSL-3, as Dr. Barrick pointed out. And it also is important to understand that you intentionally downplayed the role of China. Between your actions to DARPA and those with NIH, you have failed to be a good steward of taxpayer dollars. And it's our recommendation that you do not receive any more. Understanding the lethality of COVID-19 to certain vulnerable populations, for sure, do you believe that a lethal virus could be used as a bioweapon, and should we be concerned about such weapons?
Well, with respect, you made two allegations in there that I want to address. First, you mischaracterized my statement. What I said about biosafety levels is that they are the same in both China and the US, and that we followed them implicitly to the letter. I have them in front of me. I'm happy to share them with the committee. Secondly, you suggested that we downplayed the role of China. That's not true. Before the proposal was submitted, I contacted DARPA and asked them if it was appropriate to conduct a project in China and to include Chinese scientists. They checked with their authorities and they said yes. So we included that. And in response to your question, sorry.
Do you have a record of that check?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay, we would.
And I'm happy to share it with the committee.
Please do.
I remember the name of the person. It was a Dr. Gimlet, and I have an email record of that. I've seen it recently, yes.
Excellent.
Of course.
Excellent. And we also have on record what you had said in your emails. But again, to my question, do you believe that a lethal virus could be used as a bioweapon, and should we be concerned about such weapons?
Of course, and there's a long history of pathogens being used as bioweapons. But that is not the research that we do.
Thank you. But maybe that's why DARPA turned you down. I now recognize the ranking member from Dr. Ruiz from California for 5 minutes of questions.